Hey everybody, it's Damian from Studio Pro Musica once again. Today we're going to take the first steps towards building a blues. Now, blues patterns are so important whether you're a rock musician, a country musician, of course a blues musician, a jazz musician. I like to call blues patterns the universal language. Chances are, whatever background somebody comes from, they'll be roughly familiar with your most common blues patterns. And those blues patterns go by a few different names. Some people will call it a 12-bar blues in a certain key. We call it 12 bars because the most common pattern actually does consist of 12 bars, 12 measures. Some people call it a 1-4-5 blues. And we call it that because the chords involved in your typical blues pattern are built off the first, fourth, and fifth scale degrees of whatever key you happen to be in. If you're in the key of C, it's going to be a chord built off C, which is the first note of the key. C, D, E, F is the fourth note of the key of C, so we're going to have some kind of an F chord in there. And C, D, E, F, G is my fifth note in the key of C. G is the fifth note, so we're going to have some kind of a G chord in there, G7, what have you, okay? And that's why we often call it a 1-4-5 pattern, but whatever name it goes by, blues in A, or blues in D, or 12-bar blues in A, 12-bar blues in D, 1-4-5 in A, 1-4-5 in D. We're all talking about the same thing. And again, these patterns are the universal language. Everybody knows them, and that's wonderful because it gives us common ground with other musicians. It's also, without question, the most common song structure in modern popular music history. Everything from old rockabilly songs to modern pop songs, country pop, rock, hard rock, heavy metal, blues, jazz tunes. They're all, not all, but so many of them are structured as a blues pattern, okay? So, to get into the nuts and bolts of a blues pattern, again, we take the first, fourth, and fifth scale degree of whatever key we happen to be in, and we build chords off them. So again, if we're in the key of C, we know the notes in the key of C major are C, D, E, F, G, A, B. No sharps, no flats. So C is my 1, C, D, E, F is my 4, C, D, E, F, G is my 5. So I'm going to play a C chord, an F chord, and a G chord. Now I want to say right up front, in this video we're not going to talk about really cool ways to play those chords. We're not going to get into different strumming patterns or different licks you can do between the chords. Those will be covered in future videos. We're also not going to talk about cool chord substitutions. Hey, instead of the G7, how about if you do a D flat 7? That's a really cool tritone substitution. We're not going to do that. The subtitle of this video is The First Steps, and that's what we're doing here. We're putting the chords in place. So if we're in the key of C, again, we're going to build chords off the first, fourth, and fifth scale degree, C, F, and G. If we're in the key of G, to offer another example, well, the notes in the key of G major happen to be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. G is the first note. G, A, B, C is the fourth note. G, A, B, C, D is the fifth note. G, C, and D are my first, fourth, and fifth scale degrees. So my 1-4-5 blues is going to have a G chord, a C chord, and a D chord. One more example. What if we're in the key of A? Okay, the notes in the key of A major are A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp. All right. So my first scale degree in the key of A, of course, is A. A, B, C sharp, D is my fourth scale degree. And then A, B, C sharp, D, E is my fifth scale degree. So A, D, and E are going to be my first, fourth, and fifth notes. Therefore, A, D, and E will be my chords that I use in my blues in A. You can play major chords, you can play seventh chords, there's a million other things you can play as well. Again, we're keeping it very simple in this video, so I'm just going to play major chords. Okay? A major, D major, E major, if I were in the key of A. G major, C major, D major, if I were in the key of G, whatever. Again, there's lots more you can do, but we're keeping it fairly simple here, okay? What about the structure? We know we're going to be in 4/4 time. Almost all rock music is in 4/4. There are exceptions. Almost all blues music is in 4/4. Almost all country music is in 4/4. You have some old cowboy country songs that are in 3/4, but for the most part, it's 4/4. So we're going to be working in 4/4 time, 4 beats per measure. And we're going to start off with 4 measures worth of that so-called 1 chord. We're going to do our examples in the key of A. So A is my 1 chord. Remember, A, B, C sharp, D is my 4th chord. D is my 4th chord. A, B, C sharp, D. E is my 5th chord. A, D, and E. And so as I was saying, we're going to start with 4 measures of that 1 chord, that A chord. So it'll be, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of boring, kind of monotonous, but again, we're not yet getting into all the cool stuff that you can do. We're just putting the structure in place. After 4 measures of the 1 chord, I'm going to have 2 measures of the 4 chord. Remember, A, B, C sharp, D. So D is my 4 chord, and I'm going to have 2 measures of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to go back to the A chord for 2 measures. Back to the 1 chord for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The final 4 measures, remember it's a 12-bar, 12-measure sequence, so measures 9, 10, 11, and 12. Numerically, they're going to go 5, 4, 1, 5. There are some variations. Some people will do 5, 4, 1, 1. Some people do 5, 4, 5, 4. But a very common pattern for those 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th measures of our 12-bar pattern is 5, 4, 1, 5. That's what we're going to do. So what's my 5 chord? Remember, A, B, C sharp, E, A, B, C sharp, D, E. So my E chord is my 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then right away I go to the 4 chord. Remember, A, B, C sharp, D. D is my 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I go to my A chord, my 1 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I finish it out with my 5 chord, which is my E. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all total, my 12-measure pattern, 4 measures of A, 2 measures of D, another 2 measures of A, E, D, A, E. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And of course, we'd repeat that over and over and over, okay? Let's do an example in another key. Let's do an example in the key of D. Now in the key of D major, my notes are D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. Again, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. So what's the chord built off the first scale degree? Well, I'm in the key of D, so my first scale degree is D. And remember, I said D, E, F sharp, G. So I'm going to play a G chord also. What's my 5th scale degree? D, E, F sharp, G, A. So I'm going to play an A chord. D, G, and A. Again, it's going to be 4 measures of that so-called 1 chord, in this case D, followed by 2 measures of that so-called 4 chord, in this case D, E, F sharp, G, followed by 2 more measures of the 1 chord, D, and then my Last four measures are going to go 5, 4, 1, 5. In this case, A, G, D, A. So here we go with a 1, 4, 5 blues in the key of D. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And of course I would repeat that. That's it. That is the structure of a blues. Now I understand if right now you're saying, yeah, but that's boring. Again, we're not talking about different strum patterns we can do. We're not talking about licks we can put in between the chords. We're not talking about different ways we can spice up the chord. Oh, I like to do a G dominant 9 instead of just a simple G chord, or just play a G and a G7 against each other. Already sounds a little bluesier. We're not talking about any of that. That is for upcoming videos in the Building a Blues series that are here at Studio Pro Musica. For right now, we're just concentrating on putting the structure in place, okay? So I hope you found that helpful. Again, 12 measures is the most common structure. Sometimes there'll be variations from that, but most songs will go with 12 measures, 4 measures of the 1 chord, 2 measures of the 4 chord, 2 more measures of the 1 chord, and then measures 9, 10, 11, and 12 very often will go 5, 4, 1, 5. In our next video, we're going to take that 1, 4, 5 blues in D that I just demonstrated, and we are going to put in a bunch of different licks. We're going to put in some different chords as well. We're going to put a strum pattern to it, and so forth. So tune into the next video for Building a Blues. But for right now, I hope you found that helpful. Please leave some comments in the comment section. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so you can catch all the great stuff here at Studio Pro Musica. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you here at Studio Pro Musica on YouTube.